welcome everyone to come to the class of Chinese culture. So this is one of the questions I would like to ask. What do you do when you're happy? So some students may say, I like to playing basketball when I'm happy, or I like to go exercise, or I like to listen to popular music. So these are the activities that we do during our present time. But today, we're going to explore a bit more about the Asian Chinese Chinese people. So we want to know, when the Asian Chinese people, they want to celebrate festivals like the Mid-Autumn Festival, Chinese Lunar New Year, or any other moments that they feel happy. So what do they do? Ta-da! Okay, so in Asian China, most of the people, they enjoy music when they are happy or they want to celebrate things, or they want to have a poem. So sometimes the music can also be combined with singing and dance. So this is one of the most important elements in ancient China. Now, we are going to explore a little bit more about the music instruments. So these are just an examples of some of the critical elements and critical instruments in the music history. So we can see that we have the pipa number 5, which I played. And a lot of Asian Chinese people, they like number 8, 古琴, the string instrument. And one of the oldest music instrument in the history. And indeed, it is the oldest instrument in China history. It's number 22 at the left side corner. And it is right on my hand. If you can see that, you can use your mouth to blow through this hole, and you have this sound. So the sound, it's a bit soft and it's very long. This is the music instrument that I would like to show you. But among all these types of instruments, we would like to know a very special one. And this instrument is the largest one in the Chinese music history. So this is the one, number 2. But surprisingly, by just looking at the picture, it looks small. So why this is the biggest and the largest instrument in the history? Let's go and find out. So a story began about 3,000 years ago. So at that time, China is in the dynasty of Western Zhou. There was a king named Li. So we usually call him King of Li. One day, especially at his 33 years, he decided to go east and expand the boundary of the country. So he passed by the states of Jin and met the person, a very famous noble person in the states of Jin. His name was Marquis of Jin, and sometimes we also call him Marquis of Jin. So what happened between them? At that time, there are so many wars, and the king of Li, he worried about that the enemies, they may have destroyed the country, and he would like to protect his people. So he said to the Marquis of Jin, he said, I command you to lead the army and protect our people. So what does Marquis say? Of course, he was said, yes, king, I shall succeed, and I will protect the people. So Marquis of Jin joined the war together with King of Li. And he was so brave at that time, and he also very smart. And that's why he succeeded and received plenty of awards from the King of Li. And these awards include horses, weapons, and delicious wine. So in order to commemorate and also appraise the King of Li, Marquis of Jin has made this very special instrument. And now we call it bells of Marquis of Jin. So if you see closer, the picture that I showed you previously was just a section of this instrument, and we call it bell body, and it has different sizes to complete as a one set. So now we're going to watch a video and to learn more about this bell. But before that, let's read 2 questions and keep it into our mind when later we watch the video. So first question, since we see that there are different sizes of the bell body, so we want to know why they are made in different sizes. And if the bell body is small, how about the pitch and the volume? Is it higher? Is it lower? Is it big? Is it small? And the question 2 is, I would like every one of you to watch and observe carefully about the video and to find out how many pieces are in the bells of Marquis of Jin. All right, everyone. So let's get started about the video. We have Jin. And the most important percussion, ancient China. Start. So all So what you're listening now, it is exactly how the bells sound like. And it is one of the most important percussion instrument in ancient China. So besides as a percussion instrument, what else we can find out? Let's go and see. All right, everyone. So this is the full picture of the bells of the Marquis of Jin. So we can see from the left side to the right side. it was arranged from small size to big size. And I just happened to have these mini bells on my hand now. Okay, so we are going to try out and experience the sound using this hammer to hit on the bell. And we can find out whether the size of the bell has any impact to the sound. All right, so we take the right side as one example, the big bell body. I don't even have to use too much strength, and the bells can have this very clear and crystal sound. So let's try at this smaller one. Wow, I will really have to hit on the bell. But the bell sound was still softer than the bigger one. And you can also hear that the smaller bell has a higher pitch and the bigger bell has the lower pitch. So this is why the bells were made in different sizes in order to have different types of sounds. The right side as one bar before that. So let's pause here a little bit while we refer back to the bells on my hand, and I'll take a closer look to the camera. And you can see that there are ancient Chinese words engraved on the bell body. Very similar to these bells of Marquis of Jin. And we can also find there are 355 inscriptions on the bell body. So we can learn from the history from these inscriptions. And this is the story that I told you just now about the King Li and the Marquis of Jin. Because during the wartime, the King Li commanded the Marquis of Jin to lead his army to participate in the expedition against the East. Because we know that Marquis was brave and he was smart, so he conquered the war and received many awards from his military exploits. And that's why he also made this chain to commemorate the King of Li. So this is the story about the bells of Marquis of Jin. So just let's enjoy the rest of the video and to hear the sound of the bells. Story as one. So what does it tell us now? we know that like some history are unseen and we couldn't read it from our textbook. So all the all those bells and the elements that we can discovered from the earth can be one of the important supplement to the history materials. And that's why this bells of Marquis of Jin has a very high academic learning value. Sound of Jin. Sound. So this is the end of the story for the bells of Marquis of Jin. So now let's go and find out what is the answer to these two questions. So we know that if the bell body is small, we hear the pitch is much higher and the volume is lower. So this is the answer. I hope you got the same answer as mine. And for the question 2, how many pieces are in the bells of Marquis of Jin? I didn't pause the video, but it did appear in the last part. So in total, there are 16 pieces in a complete set of bells of Marquis of Jin. So in Shanghai Museum, 14 pieces are well protected there, and there are another 2 pieces are well preserved in Shanghai Museum. So I hope everyone has the same answer as me, but if not, we can look through the answers and understand more about these bells. So beside the bells of Marquis of Jin, I also wish to share with you the Chinese qin, because we know that in ancient China, the Chinese qin becomes the most important percussion instrument, and they are made of bronze. So in majority of the cases, this qin were played and used for court performance or court meetings, especially for empire and also like the high noble ranking people. So it were rarely circulated in the folk or for the ordinary people. And they were also played every time when they are calling for the war or they have this prayer ceremony or sacrifices. So these are the major ceremonies that they use the Chinese qin as the background music. So we are going to find out how about the Chinese qin at the current time. How do they integrate with the present moment? So this video talks about there is a great poem called Qu Yuan in Warring States. And he used the praise of the orange tree from his hometown to express his dream, his wishes for the good future. So let's just enjoy the video and enjoy the sound. So let's bells on my hand. Wishes, and wishes. Wishes, bells on my hand. All right, What I want you to have a closer look is the Chinese stream at the back. So we see that in order to play the Chinese stream, we need more than one player. And they have used different hammer that in a bigger size and to tap on the Chinese stream on the top row. And another person at the center, he uses the iron stick or the brass stick to hit on the bells at the lower part. So this is how do we use the Chinese stream in the present time and to combine with all other kinds of traditional instruments to make the songs that we can understand at the modern society. Okay, all right. So if you really would like to know how the Chinese stream and the bells of Marquis of Jin look like in the real life, I would really want to invite everyone to come to the city of Shanghai and visit the Shanghai Museum. So you will have a face-to-face look about the bells. Since we have these online classes and we are so limited to the traveling now, but I would still like to show you around about the Shanghai city. So let's travel now. So if you would like to come to Shanghai, you can take the air flight or you can go by the land. But taking air flight takes much less time and you will arrive at this Pudong International Airport. So once you arrive, I will show you more information about Shanghai. And you see this black pin, it shows where Shanghai is located at China. So it is located at the east side of China. And it has a population of 24.87 million people. And in China, it is one of the most populous urban area. So all the younger generations, they like to go to the city and to work there, live there, and making friends. And definitely, it is also one of the most populous city proper in the world. So the other question, if we really go to the Shanghai, one thing we must know is the public transport, because we will have to take metro trains and also buses to go within the city. And we can drop by different temples and different historical sites. And this is the map or the metro train map you will use when you reach in Shanghai.